So this is just a setup that I did with some hand-me-down equipment and a couple items that I bought. There's other ways to do it. This is just what I figured out how to do. Like you could have the router do more things that the switch is doing, or the switch doing more things that the router's doing. This is just a quick setup. The main point here is to show the ASUS access point backhaul. People were having problems with smart switches in that mix, and I untagged the ports and it seems to work great.
Alright, gonna do some tech stuff here. Gonna cover Sonicwall, VLANs, smart switches, ASUS access points, backhaul. Start off right here in the connection panel. Well, it's not really a panel. Spectrum modem over there. Sonicwall TZ-270 with the 3 VLANs set up. The black cables are the tagged coming out of the router, and Netgear 48 port smart switch. Got the black tagged ports coming out of the router, and then everywhere where there's a black one coming in, you can't really see it that well, but that entire bank would be part of that VLAN. Like the one in the middle there, that's my primary VLAN, my home stuff. And then there's a VLAN for work computers that I hook up and so on. So we'll do more. We'll look at the interface of the switch and the router and run out to the shop where I've got 3 VLANs coming through a single Ethernet cable. And then we'll cover a little bit of the ASUS access points backhauled via Ethernet. I've seen a lot of people having problems with that. As long as your port is untagged out of your switch going to the access points, it should work. It definitely worked for me, and I'll show you what models I have and so on.
Okay, I'm over here in the Sonicwall TZ-270 network interfaces to show you the VLANs. There's the 20, the 30, the 40, and it's easy to make. You just add an interface, virtual interface, create a LAN. We'll go with 50 on this one. I'm going to go port 5 on the router. So yeah, that's just adding one. I'm not really going to apply it, but so easy to do. Then you go down to DHCP and you have to create a scope for each VLAN. As you can see, 20, 30, 40, these are my ranges of addresses handed out. And to create a scope, you would just click on Add Dynamic, manually put your range in, or have it auto-populate a range for you. So now we're in the Netgear switch that I showed you at the beginning. Switching VLAN configurations, there's 20, 30, and 40. VLAN memberships. This one's built in. Let's go to 20. So my tagged port is 20. Going out to the shop, tagged trunk is 48. 30. Tagged port 30. Again, 48 out to the shop. 30 is the primary one. 30 is where my access points are plugged into, I think, port 28. So to backhaul the ASUS access points via Ethernet, that's got to be untagged because it will conflict with, I think, the built-in VLAN numbers up in the 500 range in the ASUS devices. So this worked for me. VLAN status, 20, 30, and 40. Associated ports.
Okay, we're out here looking at the shop side of things. We have a Netgear 8-port smart switch. VLANs 20, 30, and 40. Tagged ports there. Tagged port there, that's my main line coming from the house. Those feed into dumb switches. Got V40 there, V30 in the back. When I plug in client computers to 40, they won't communicate with my home network on V30. You can see from my first IP config plugged into the V30 switch, I got 30 there, and I moved it over to the 40 switch, and now the computer has IP address of the 40. Okay, primary ASUS access point number 1, part of the AiMesh, just plugged into a port on the wall that goes back to that smart switch we covered in the beginning. Okay, we're still out in the shop. There's the second access point on the AiMesh ASUS 5-port dumb switch. All of this is plugged into the V30 dumb switch in the other room. Ethernet is the backhaul method to the ASUS.
Okay, I'm in the Asus AX86U, which is the parent access point. AiMesh. This is where the primary is, and this is the one out in the shop. Ethernet backhaul. So if I click on the shop one, it's got a great connection. System settings. It's got Ethernet backhaul mode, and I have these set to DHCP, and I don't worry about finding them on the network because I just use the little discovery utility. That's just the way I did it this time.